former X Division champion and number 22 on PWP's Top 25 of 2022, Mike Bailey here, and you are listening to Pro Wrestling Proverbs with Logan and Anthony.
The PWP Express has been rearing this year. We know at the beginning that we said we'd kind of lighten our schedule because last year it was a little top heavy.
Very top heavy.
We had about 8 conventions, I think. SummerSlam. It was a busy year. This year it's been a little lightened. We rounded things out, of course, though, at the Monroe Comic-Con. Now, I had not been to this Comic-Con before. You were unable to make it.
Yeah, I forget why. There's been...
I think work.
That's usually the default answer. If it was on a Saturday or Sunday, it was probably because of work and, only get limited time off. And I have to see those time offs for important things. Like something else we got coming up here shortly that we'll get into later.
Yeah. So our apologies to those at Monroe Comic-Con for not putting out something sooner. We did have something recorded, but then for a couple reasons we decided to kind of wait, and then life got in the way. The first reason was, and I'll just say it briefly, I'm still not a fan of the Usos as singles competitors, and in the last episode I went on like a 30-minute rant on the Bloodline and how only certain members should be champions, etc., etc. Haha, the following Monday, Jey Uso won the Intercontinental title. That's besides the point.
Yeah.
It kind of worked out, though, because of what we're going to talk about later. But
the main reason the Monroe episode never got uploaded is the file got corrupted.
Yeah, it's probably...
So we had to record it when there's other stuff we wanted to talk about before we got around to re-recording everything that was in there. A lot of the stuff we'll never talk about again because it's not timely anymore. But we just felt like we owed it to Monroe Comic-Con because they're so gracious to us that we'd re-record this part here at the beginning of this episode. Because Logan had a good time there. He spent a lot of money there.
It was a great time. I did spend a lot of money. My dad and my brother went with me. I definitely agree with their statement of it being the biggest little con in Michigan. Everything about it. I had no true complaints. At a lot of these conventions, the parking's terrible. Parking there was perfect. It was at a fairground, so there was plenty of spots. There's bathrooms outside, so when you have a bladder like mine, after a nice 20-minute travel, you can instantly just go use the restroom. Some pretty cool passes. I like getting specialized passes per con, showing that we're press, we're media. It was huge. I think it was bigger than the really cool con. I think the only cons that are bigger than it are like the Motor City Comic Con and maybe even the Grand Rapids one. This had a lot of vendors, a lot of people. Rhino was supposed to be there. He actually helps head it, but due to scheduling conflicts, he had to back out. Of course, the Greatest Wrestling Collector was there because
the GWC was there.
Yeah, the GWC was there.
Woo! Nothing. He was on A&E for the one show. You remember that? He was on there. He's got a Facebook group. His whole house is for the best in the memorabilia. Do you know that?
Yeah, he brought nothing to the table again. Like there's, I might enjoy him if he had something new.
We don't like that. Was he have the Macho Man robe?
The Macho Man robe, the Ric Flair robe, the Hulk Hogan belt signed by Sergeant Slaughter. Just a bunch of
good stuff.
Bunch of old stuff. Mickie James was there.
Love Mickie James.
I say Mickie James is great. She was the big wrestling personality there. Yeah, I didn't meet any wrestling personalities at this. I met my dad and I met Clint Howard. Clint Howard is the brother of Ron Howard, the famous director. He was Ron Howard was the child actor on Andy Griffith. His brother followed in his footsteps and did acting as well. You might know him from the live-action How the Grinch Stole Christmas. He was the mayor's assistant.
Yeah.
He's also been in a lot of different horror movies and sci-fi movies. I know your dad was excited I met him because Clint Howard's one of the few people that has been in every main Star Wars television series because of how long he's been acting.
Star Trek, you mean?
Star Trek, yeah.
There's only been like 2 Star Wars shows, I think.
Yeah, nope, and they're not that old. Not that old.
Okay.
But I was originally gonna get something from one of his horror movie appearances. He's gonna be in He was in Terrifier 3.
Was he?
But as I got up there, I saw that he had a Jungle Book 8x10, and Jungle Book's my favorite Disney animated movie. And started talking to him about it. And he was the younger elephant in the Jungle Book. He also was Roo in the original Winnie the Pooh animated series, if that dates how long he's been doing this.
Wow.
He was talking to my dad and I about the roles he was in. He told me that when he was recording for the Jungle Book, that Walt Disney actually came into the studio, listened to him record a little bit, gave him a salute, and said, "You're doing good, Clint." Which, I mean, whether that was just Walt Disney being nice or if he was actually doing a good job, it's a pretty badass story to have. That you're just sitting there doing your job and the Walt Disney walks in. He's a great guy. He's probably one of the most fun that I've met. He talked about how he didn't really love conventions. He didn't love people. But he seemed to be having a good time there. He brought his family. That's one of my dad and I's like white rabbits, or was, for white whales for horror movie people conventions. But then after that, my brother met the creator of The Crow, the comic book, the graphic novel. I guess that ties into wrestling, because even though Sting says he never saw The Crow, or the Crow, which is crazy to me.
There's no way.
That's what. Well, Scott Hall created the gimmick, but Sting says he never saw The Crow, just like Vince McMahon said he never saw Godfather before, or Scarface before Scott Hall was Razor Ramon. So take that with what you will. My brother also wanted to meet Elias. Was supposed to be there, but Elias was only Friday. We went on a Saturday. Apparently, Elias has a super busy schedule.
He can't be
I
that
did
busy.
post
He's on like TikTok live doing like what are they called? Like when you just read scripture, devotionals or something, whatever.
Yeah,
something like that. He does that like every day. Can't be that busy.
He might be busier if he was good. But
Busy for get booked.
he
just joking.
There's a lot of good merch, a lot of good vendors. My favorite piece I bought was from, they called it The Last Mupper, and it was The Last Supper, but instead of the religious figures, it was all Muppets. And underneath the table is Jim Henson, because he was being Kermit at the center of the table. My brother bought the Gunther, not the Elite, what's the one, the Ultimate Edition.
Ultimates, yeah.
Which now I see those in stores all the time. I tried to warn him that people at conventions get early access so they can charge like $10 more, but didn't listen. There was stuff for everyone there. There was anime. There's a lot of wrestling. There's a lot of Godzilla stuff. We walked around it a good 2-3 times, and I felt like every time we walked around it, we saw something new. I definitely be interested in going back. I thought it was really well put together. We had 2 press passes, so we had to buy 1 ticket, but the ticket was only like $25. Parking was free. Parking was good. None of the vendors I thought had like crazy prices, and if they were crazy, like the item was either worth it or it was a sought-after item. And as I showed in the YouTube short / Instagram reel, there was a lot of wrestling memorabilia, whether it be figures, belts, loose figures. I guess I didn't realize how well off the Michigan convention scene was like 5, 6 years ago. But I mean, after going to the Great Lakes Comic Con, the really cool Comic Con, the Astronomicon, now the Monroe Comic Con, on top of Motor City, Grand Rapids.
You've probably been to most of the big ones in Michigan, probably all of them.
Yeah, because I've been to the Capital City one. They usually do the one up in Mount Pleasant. I forget the name of that one. I've been to that one. Jackson's got the Blood Bash. Yeah, I think the only ones that I haven't been to, just convention in general, is probably the YumaCon, which is usually anime related, but I think I'm going to have to try and go to it because one of my favorite YouTubers gets booked there every year for some reason. And he talks about Garfield and Nickelodeon shows, but they bring him to an anime convention. Yeah, he goes.
I thought you were gonna say me. I thought I was getting booked there. You know.
No, not you.
PWP's,
someone that
PWP's not your favorite YouTube channel.
I said one of them.
Oh. Okay.
But nope. The one I'm talking about. A shout out to Quentin Reviews.
Yeah.
If you're into 8-hour videos on deep dives on Nickelodeon shows or on Garfield, definitely check them out. They're phenomenal.
Yeah, the first one I watched of him was he did iCarly, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah, he did. He's in iCarly, Victorious, all of them. Just go check it out if you haven't. But yeah, Monroe Comic Con was great. It's another one I'll definitely head back to. The drive was fine. I think that was one of the few things that hindered the Great Lakes Comic Con when we went, besides that it was in winter and there's some snow, it was cold. This one, since it was in the summer, it was a straight shot. And it was back roads, and my dad and I kept joking that every barn...
was a well, that was a haul for me, too. I did not like that drive.
No. At least the other drives are either in the summer or a little bit shorter. But yeah, definitely, I appreciate Monroe Comic Con. I appreciate them giving us more press passes, and I hope to continue to work with them in the future. I mean, I joke that even though we have other partners and other avenues, that we're almost the Michigan Convention podcast as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if you're in the Michigan area, definitely head over to the Monroe Comic Con. They do it yearly. It used to be the Monroe Pop Fest, which makes sense because I know for a while they were saying how this is maybe the 10th or 12th year of the Monroe Comic Con, and I was confused because normally, even if I hadn't been to one, I've kept track of them. But they used to be the Pop Fest, and I know I didn't go to that because since I don't research and I saw Pop Fest, I'm like, man, I like Pop Funkos, but not that much. But it meant pop culture. So that's my bad. That's my bad. Trying to think since it was so long ago, besides the great Mupper, what else I got? I got a couple comic books. They re-released the original Godzilla Marvel one, and it had a holographic cover. And then I got one. Disney's been doing these cool ones with Marvel, and this one was What If Donald Duck Was Wolverine? It's very fun.
Yeah.
They've also done one with if Scrooge. I think it's if he had the Infinity Gauntlet. But it's just fun goofs and gaffs like that. And like I said, the Great Mupper. Oh, and I got a 3D something. I already had a 3D printed Godzilla. We already had a 3D printed Falcor. I got a little 3D printed moose. Yes. Yeah, great time. Definitely, this is one where if we're able to get passes again, I know that you're a busy man with your work, and then you're going to have even more responsibilities come time next year, but it'd be a fun one for you to go to.
Yeah,
I would put it, if I had to rank them for the ones that we've gone to for the convention or for the podcast, I think it might surpass Really Cool Con. I'd still have Astronomicon as one, even though it's super crowded, but I can't hold that against them. that, oh man, you have too many people at your convention.
You're so popular. You'd be better if you made less money.
Yeah, I mean, if that's my only complaint, Astros definitely won. Then I think it's them, and then really cool. If I threw in the ones that we didn't necessarily get passes to, I think it would probably be a 3 because Squared Circle Expo is pretty fun too. But it is definitely up there. It's not a waste of time, and like I said, good prices all around. What else can I say besides thank you, Monroe Comic-Con? But as I kind of said at the beginning of that, that was supposed to be when we put the PWP Express in the garage. Gonna tune it up for next year. You know, you might see us at an Astronomicon. You might see us at a Squared Circle Expo, maybe a WrestleCon. But then, about a week ago now, which it worked out, I guess, that the original recording of this got corrupted. We got a little email.
Not just a little email. I'd say it's probably a big email. Probably.
Well, it's a big one
for a young up and coming pod, you know, and with not that much pull, you know.
Yeah,
kind of a big deal.
We have been invited to be press, media, whatever you want to call us, to Bound for Glory 2024. That's right, TNA's premiere pay-per-view show.
You know what I've always said? Bound for Glory is the biggest wrestling show of the year, bar none.
Have you?
Bigger. Yep. Bigger than WrestleMania. Bigger than All Out. I am a Bound for Glory guy. You can't
Bound for Glory guy.
Bound for Glory guy. I am myself personally. Those are the models I live by. I am always bound for glory. I work so hard that glory will follow me wherever I go. I'm here to make an impact in other people's lives.
Because you're such a TNA guy.
I'm a huge TNA guy. I can name all of their champions right now. I watch their show every week. Yeah.
I bet you do.
I do. Ask me who a champion is. I can tell you.
Yeah. Who right now is their X Division champion?
Their X Division champion? That's an easy one. Not only is he the intro of our show, he was number 22 on PWP's top 25 of 2022. That is Mike Bailey.
Speedball Mike Bailey, and he'll be there.
He will be there. He's fighting El Hijo del Vikingo.
Yes.
I think I pronounced that right.
Yes.
Match of the year?
I mean, I know you're being a little facetious because they're giving us passes, but there's a chance it could be match of the year with those two.
I know. That's what I said. I know what the facetious about it.
I find it funny because if you remember, El Hijo de Vikingo was supposed to be... he was supposed to be a big AEW signing. Yeah, he had that big match with Kenny Omega.
Yeah, the dream match.
Yep, and he didn't sign, and he's coming back to TNA. He's going to be at Bound for Glory, which that's awesome in itself. X Division title. This is two of the better light heavyweight, cruiserweights, whatever you want to call them. They're going to tear it down. It's going to be pretty cool to see Mike Bailey live. Another person that we mention a lot on the show that's going to be here is none other than Matt Cardona. He's fighting PCO in a Monsters Ball match, which the Monsters Ball, I briefly explained in other TNA pods. So originally when it started, you were locked in a room with no water, no food, no light for 24 hours. That way when you came out, you were like ravenous. You were angry. I don't know if they still do that in kayfabe. It'd be cool if they did, but it's just an all-out brawl. And PCO, I've seen him. We watched him actually at my bachelor party when we went to Ring of Honor.
I remember
the fact that he's, I want to get his age right. He's 56, and some of the hardcore stuff or some of the flippy stuff he does still, it's crazy. Cardona, of course, King of the Deathmatch. And this feud is because Cardona's indie lady, Steph DeLauder, actually had a relationship with PCO on TNA TV.
Oh.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of depth to this hardcore match that I didn't think there would be. It's also for the Digital Media Championship and the International Heavyweight Championship, which I have a slight feeling Cardona could win and turn the Digital Media Championship into the Internet title. Just a little guess on my part, but I think it'll be a fun match. Bound for Glory, like I told you before we recorded, it is TNA's big show. They'll have debuts, they'll have returns, they'll have some TNA history. Lately, Cardona's had Bully Ray show up for him on the indies in death matches, so I'm half wondering if he'll make an appearance here to help Cardona out. We're also in Detroit, and Rhino is being inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame the week before. So is Bob Ryder, the former producer for TNA. But with Rhino being there, I'm sure he's going to make an appearance somewhere on the card. I think it leaves open for other ECW guys to make appearances on the card, since they'll be there for his induction. I'm excited for that match. Besides the two we said, we also have Josh Alexander fighting Steve Macklin. I have a feeling this could be one of Alexander's last matches in TNA before possibly showing up in NXT. Ethan Page used to be a tag team partner of his called The North. Mm-hmm. I also know that right now on TV, Josh Alexander kind of has a Canadian-esque tag team, or a stable, so I'm half wondering if, with this being TNA's big show, if Ethan Page shows up, if other former Team Canada members of TNA come out and help. There's a lot that could happen there. You have the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championship, Spitfire defending against Rosemary, and NXT's Wendy Chu. I love what the work Rosemary does. I haven't seen a lot of Spitfire. And Wendy Chu's kind of one of those where people laughed that she was the one that NXT sent over. It was her and Charlie Dempsey. Yeah. And now she's tearing it up and she's going for the tag titles. So to everyone that hates the NXT TNA partnership, I believe this is another notch in the belt for it. And you can go suck an egg.
Rosemary kind of scares me, to be honest.
Rosemary's wicked.
Yeah.
She's like a combination of Luna Vachon and Asuka.
Uh-huh.
And cool. It's fun. Also for the knockouts, we have Jordynne Grace defending her championship against Masha Slamovich. Jordynne Grace actually defeated Masha 2 years ago at Bound for Glory. I think it was to win her first Knockouts championship, and she's dominated since. She's a clear favorite to end up going to WWE from this partnership, so I'm wondering if Masha gets the W here, or if maybe Jordynne gets it, and she feuds with one more big name.
I think so. I'll double check real quick while I'm saying it. I swore I read somewhere that Jordynne Grace's contract expires in January.
Oh, just in time to show up and win the Rumble, huh?
Right here, Fightful. Jordynne Grace's contract was originally set to expire in the summer of 25, but she had it amended to expire in January. And I think the Royal Rumble next year is on February 1st, I think.
Yep, she's showing up to win the Rumble.
Let me see. Yeah, February 1st at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Well, good for her.
Yeah.
She's another favorite of mine. She was at StarCast. Dominated then. She's one of my few instances of FOMO from that convention because she was just at the TNA table for the longest time. And we walked around the TNA table a lot, didn't say nothing. Probably should have, because she probably would have been like $20 then. Now she's like $100. So good for her, bad for us. We could have used the money that we spent on Brian Pillman and
Met her.
Yeah. We also have Mike Santana, the former AEW wrestler. He's going to fight Moose. Moose, one of the TNA faithful. The past couple of years when we've done the list, I always include him on the list because he's always in the main event for TNA. He's always doing something. I still think, I don't know if you remember this, but when NXT signed Apollo Crews, the rumor was it was Apollo Crews or Moose they were signing. Nothing against Apollo, because that flip's pretty cool. Moose, I guess I can't say because he would have been in the WWE system and they fumbled a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how you could fumble Moose. He's like what they wanted Ahmed Johnson to be. He could have had matches with Brock. He could have had matches with, now Gunther. I'm curious how they do this match.
I wonder if Vince would have him change his name
From Moose
to something. So Vince would never like the name Moose.
Yeah.
Moose.
Or if he stayed Moose, then he'd want him to go all in on it. I want you to come out in antlers. I want you to use a spear, but we're gonna call it the gore. Fuck that Rhino guy. Yeah, but I'm curious how this match will go because Mike Santana's kind of a smaller guy, and Moose is pretty big. So this is definitely a David versus Goliath. Santana's been having some good matches in TNA since leaving AEW.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know who Mike Santana is, he's the guy about 2-3 years ago. Whenever you'd walk into Target or Walmart, his figure would be sitting there.
It's so mean.
But it's true though. Literally every time I'd walk into Meijer or Target, and I'd be like, "I wonder if they have any new AEW figures out." And it was always him and
Scorpio Sky,
and Jack Swagger.
Oh yeah,
whatever his name is.
Jack Hager.
Jack Hager, yeah.
And that's just their singles match. And we're gonna have a TLC match. The system, which is Brian Myers, which is Kurt Hawkins, and Eddie Edwards, the champions, are going to defend against the American Bullet Club, which is Ace Austin and Chris Bay. And they're also going to defend against the Hardys. So unless the Hardys are going to NXT, I have to assume in a TLC match the Hardys are going to win.
Did you see the Hardys try to leech off of Joe Hendry? Popularity?
I think so. Yeah.
I believe in Matt Hardy.
Yep.
Yeah. That I wanted to. Never mind. Anyway, yeah, I think the Hardys will probably win. If I had to guess,
I would assume. I don't know if that would give them a record-setting tag title win. The Dudleys are still waiting on their 25th, which bugs me that WWE didn't do that. But let's see, WCW once, so Raw once, so 2, SmackDown once, 3, WWF/E 6. There's 9. And that's just WWE. TNA, they won it twice, so 11. Ring of Honor once, so 12. So no, it's not a big... I guess in Matt Hardy lore, though, I'm sure the number 13 means something. I forget what it was. I think you'll get a kick out of this. I was talking about the Hardys to our good friend, the Rizzler, and I defend Matt Hardy a little more, right? Because he tries to evolve. He does what he can, and he takes the shit as it's shoveled at him. Unlike his brother, who fakes being high and drunk to leave the WWE. I still say he faked it. It's awful. Oh, that's what I did. I compared them to Rob Van Dam and Sabu. Right? So Sabu is the drunken high guy that everyone freaks out for when he comes back, even though they know he's going to do a flip and hurt himself. Well, poor RVD, people are saying oh, you're getting old, you need to retire. Even though all he does is constantly evolve and put on good matches. Match Rob and Jeff Sabu. Tell me I'm wrong.
I won't.
You can't.
Nope.
So Matt Hardy, if you're listening, I already did a podcast singing your praises. I told my brother to deal with it, that Jeff Hardy got a DUI and couldn't make StarCast for his birthday weekend because he still got to meet Matt Hardy version 1. I don't know if the whole podcast supports you, but I believe in Matt Hardy. At least he's not a charismatic enigma, right? Not a creature of the night.
I have problems with both of them, to be honest. But See,
I think
Matt Hardy I love Matt Hardy the person. Don't get me wrong, that's fine. It's Matt Hardy the character I don't like, and
which one?
All of them.
Broken,
All of them.
Woken, Big Money.
All of them.
Oh, all of them.
All of them, like past like 06. So before, he was fine. He was, and then I have the opposite. Like I think Jeff Hardy, the person, I think he's selfish, arrogant. But his character, I like his characters on TV. They're fine.
I also feel bad that at conventions, which we saw it at Squared Circle Con, or at Squared Circle Expo this past year, we saw it at WrestleCon last year, Jeff Hardy has a line going out the door, and then Matt's just standing there like, and just waiting.
I know. I feel so,
I guess...
Sometimes I do feel bad for Matt Hardy. Because when we talked to him at StarCast, he was super nice. Give us a lot of time. Broke the rules for us a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I guess
I always respect Matt Hardy the person. But yeah,
I guess that's the difference between him and RVD, huh? Because RVD usually is a line out the door.
Yeah. And there's no there's no way Jeff would ever be as nice or give us a time of day like Matt would.
No.
I think Jeff is there to collect his paycheck. So he can have booze money for after the show, and then he'll.
Woof.
I'll say until I'm proven wrong. We gave him a lot of chances as fans.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
We rooted for him, and every time he fucking lets us down. So
he's gonna have a concert
as a fan
on Sunday.
I will not go. I hope nobody goes. He's not a good singer.
The Sunday after Bound for Glory, it's gonna be him and Joe Hendry having a concert.
Oh, like in show? Okay. I thought he was.
I
thought you had like an event, like in like a bar somewhere.
It is. It is. They're at the Wayne State Fieldhouse, Sunday, October 27th. One night only, live and in concert. But it's also they're doing. All right, because I have the press release right here. Will be taped to air on the company's weekly TV show. Okay. Oh, but fans are encouraged to dress up like Jeff or Joe, with collectibles and more awarded. Limited edition TNA photo will be given to 20 random fans who dress up like Jeff or Joe. One lucky fan will be chosen to win a meet and greet with Jeff, and one will be chosen to win a meet and greet with Joe. Now, if always someone going to dress up like Joe Hendry, at least Jeff Hardy looks like you. I could put on the arm sleeves and get long hair and the baggy jeans. I'm Jeff Hardy. But, what am I going to do with Joe Hendry? Just show up in my boxers and just smile? Just, hey. Just have a little guitar and strum it. Yeah, just. Yeah. But as we both said, the Hardys will probably win the TNA tag titles there. It's a TLC match. I can't imagine they're going to have Jeff Hardy break himself again to not win. But yeah, I will say it'll be cool to see them in a TLC match.
What are the odds that Jeff Hardy jumps off something tall? And that's like a crazy spot that makes him wins.
Jeff Hardy will jump off something crazy tall, and then Matt will climb up and grab the titles. As he does. I want to say before we get to the main event, they are doing a 2024 Call Your Shot Gauntlet. So I kind of explained it to you beforehand. This is where it'll be 20 people, usually 10 men, 10 women. And it is a gauntlet battle royal, and the winner gets to pick heavyweight title match, X Division title match, women's title match, tag title match, and they get to pick when and where. Jordan Grace did it in 2023. I'm kind of excited because since this is Bound for Glory and this is their big show, their anniversary show, I'm curious to see who will be in it, what former people. My big hope, my outlandish hope, the former Marcus Corvan, Monty Brown, he actually is from Grand Rapids, Michigan. He started wrestling in TNA. He won Rookie of the Year for TNA. He was in a lot of heavyweight title matches, and he probably should have stayed in TNA because WWE did him dirty. I hope he's there. RVD could show up because, again, from Detroit, he was a former TNA heavyweight, TNA X Division. As I look at the TNA roster, I'd love to see Eric Young in it. Hammerstone could make an impact in it. We could see the former Fandango, Johnny Curtis. We could see Jonathan Gresham. Could see Kushida. Mustafa Ali could be in it. Rich Swann. Santino Marella. Sammy Callahan just re-signed.
We know who else could be in it?
Who?
The Rock.
Tommy Dreamer.
Sorry.
It's so funny because it still makes me angry that we went to SummerSlam and The Rock was supposed to be there, and then he essentially, I'm not coming back for anything, and then he shows up in Denver on a random SmackDown. I will never forgive him for that.
He could make it up to us by showing up at Bound for Glory.
It was showing up at Bound for. I mean, he did show up at the roast of Ric Flair.
Well, you did.
Remember, he was a video call.
Yeah.
Made Ric Flair cry because don't cry for the people there, cry because The Rock remembered you. I'm also taking a quick glance at the NXT roster to see if there's anyone that used to be in TNA.
You know what? I just made a connection on something. This is totally unrelated.
Yeah.
You had me thinking about that night again.
Okay.
I'll see if I can pull it up because I don't know the dates yet. So that was the roast of Ric Flair, right?
Yes. Yeah.
That was on July 30th, July 29th.
Okay.
So do you know the podcast Kill Tony?
Yeah.
Ric Flair was on it.
Okay.
Oh.
That's the roast one, right? Is that the roast one?
So, what Kill Tony is, for those of you that haven't watched it, it's pretty funny. They will have like actual comedians like sit on like on this panel. Like Shane Gillis is one that's on their line. They have Joe Rogan on there sometimes, and then they might have a celebrity like a Ric Flair, and then random audience members will get pulled from a hat, and they come up and do like 1 minute of stand up comedy, and then if they do good, they do like a little interview after, and there's usually some more jokes, and if they're bad, they'll get like picked on. Ric Flair did not like that.
Mm.
He got really upset that they were making fun of people. This was last year that he walked off of. So this is after maybe the roast of Ric Flair kind of got to him. He didn't like getting made fun of. Yeah, he walked off. I'll have to send you the clip later. He's like, I will not. He said something about his son, the one that passed away. He's like, my son volunteered to work with kids, and one of the guys that came up was like a volunteer, like volleyball or softball coach or something. And he's like, I'll never make somebody that dedicates their time to kids. And he left. He just walked out. Like ruined the show.
He kind of ruined his own roast by not understanding it. And it's funny because he invited the people, right? Like, he had a hand in who came. And then I remember the first thing he did was he went up there and complained that people made fun of the women there. If you didn't want women to be made fun of, don't invite them to a roast.
Yeah. Apparently he was pretty wasted at the Kill Tony.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah.
But I looked, there's not really anyone on the NXT roster that used to be in TNA that jumps out to me. But one of NXT's commentators is Booker T. I could see WWE throwing him a bone for that. I mean, because Booker T had a pretty long career in TNA. He was in the Main Event Mafia. He introduced the Legends Championship, which I am the current holder of. There's a lot of things that could happen. I just hope there's some cheesy TNA history there. Give me some Shark Boy. Give me some Spike Dudley. Give me the Johnsons. A couple of guys that dressed up and looked like dicks. Give me them.
Something. Give Logan something. He deserves it.
I love cheesy TNA. The main event, not the Main Event Mafia. The Aces of Eights. Give me them. Come on. Give me something.
Don't get your hopes up, because then we'll have another Nicholas situation on our hands.
I would say, I know, I'm gonna be upset that I won't get anything cheesy. It's like, oh, here come the Steiner brothers and Booker T. I hate this. Where's Shark Boy?
I want Shark Boy. What if like
Logan, The Rock's here. I want Shark Boy.
What if Nicholas, actual Nicholas, came out?
If actual Nicholas came to Bound for Glory, I would enter the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. I would win the Call Your Shot Gauntlet.
The TV broadcaster sees a man taking his shirt off.
I would too.
You're taking one of your insulin pens, you're cranking it up on the side. You inject it into yourself.
Yeah, I'd
run in.
I'd be ready.
That'd be awesome. Like if
we'd just be sitting.
That'd be an awesome pro wrestling gimmick, honestly. Like a guy with like chronic diabetes, and every match before he gets in there, he has to give himself an insulin shot, and it just jacks him up. You know, like Festus with the bell.
Dude, that'd be hilarious. I know what my catchphrase would be. I'm gonna beat these cheeks. But yeah, if Nicholas is there, I guess I'm gonna enter, and I guess I'm gonna come out of retirement. I know I haven't offered to fight anyone since I offered to fight Shane McMahon. Yeah. I forget what the team was. I think it was Shane, Daniel Bryan, and Nicholas, and I said I'd team with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Looking back on it, I think we'd win. But anyway, yeah, if Nicholas is there, expect me in the ring. But as I was saying, there could be a lot of TNA history, a lot of fun stuff. Every year there's something. Like I said, I think we could see a chance of Team Canada, since Josh Alexander's kind of teased it, but we'll have to see. But that is the pre-show. And the main event, we have Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler, the man that we just met at Squared Circle Expo.
Yeah, the Rizzler said he's going to have him take down Goodwill or something.
Yeah. He's defending his TNA World Championship. Frankie Kazarian is going to be the special referee, and he's defending it against Joe Hendry. Will we be in the crowd when Joe Hendry reaches the TNA mountaintop? The crowd will go nuts.
I'll go nuts. I'm a big
Joe Hendry.
I'm a big Joe Hendry guy now. I didn't get it at first, but now I jumped ship, I believe.
It's so amazing. He started... I've been following him since he started with his appearances on ICW. I'm pretty sure he made appearances for What Culture Pro Wrestling. We saw him when we went to the Ring of Honor show. His Impact stuff's been good. I was excited when he came out on NXT, and now there's a chance we witness his coronation. What could be better than that? Either that, or they're going to screw him somehow, and the fans are going to revolt. Either way, we're going to be there for history.
I think they kind of got to crown him, because if you think about it. Or, what's his contract like? So I know Alexander's on his way out. I heard Mike Bailey's contract is up soon. Gresham is gone.
Yeah, they've got to crown him, and I wonder if we'll see maybe like Hammerstone win the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, and then we'll get Hammerstone versus Hendry. Maybe we'll see someone debut and win it. I'm trying to think if there's any big names out there on the indies or that aren't signed. I guess Miro stands out to me. And they've teased Miro coming to TNA for years. That's the only one that like jumps to the forefront that isn't with a company.
I don't know. He might not. Apparently, there was some sort of agreement made with WWE and TNA. Like, Joe Hendry's is like at the Performance Center 24/7 now.
Oh no!
I don't think he's resigning. His contract's up.
You know how he could? Well. You know how he could lose? I just remembered. Nick Nemeth's been having JBL help him.
Yeah, JBL.
Oh, we could see JBL. All
right, he can lose as long as I see JBL.
Especially in this new gimmick. He just arrive, clothesline someone, leave. What if he wins the Call Your Shot Gauntlet? I'd piss my pants.
What if he wins it? Joe Hendry wins, he
And then he calls him out right there.
right there, wins it, and then gives it to Nick Nemeth again.
That'd be hilarious.
I'm sure the fans would love that.
There's a lot that could happen. I now that we say that, I do think John Layfield will make an appearance. He's been making regular appearances with Dolph at big shows. Who'd have thought getting this amped up for a TNA show? Especially when WWE is as hot as it is. NXT keeps cranking it up. AEW's still putting up numbers, being hot. You would have thought that with these wrestling companies doing so well that they'd kind of pick Impact clean, but Impact's stronger than ever.
Yeah. Impact, I don't know. Something in the past year just really obviously not in the main front of like everybody, but in wrestling fans' minds, I think you can probably argue they have more momentum than AEW possibly.
I think the relationship with WWE certainly helps that. Which is why I said Bound for Glory, biggest show of the year. We haven't seen that huge WWE talent show up yet. I mean, what better spot than the biggest show of the year?
I think he could do it.
I just don't know who. Like I said, Ethan Page kind of makes sense. Him and Josh Alexander reuniting, and then Josh coming over to NXT with him. Maybe Joe Hendry wronged someone on NXT.
I know I'm going to have to go back and watch the past 2 months of NXT and Impact.
Yeah, to see if we notice anything. But yeah, we will be at Bound for Glory. There's press conferences the week before. It seems like they're going to go all out. We are very gracious that TNA Impact gave us these press passes. This is technically the first press passes that we've gotten for a wrestling show, not just a convention or anything. What a place to start, huh?
Yeah. Well, didn't Battle in the Creek give us one for the show, or is that just for the convention? You had to buy your ticket for that.
They didn't end up giving us one.
Oh.
Technically, the reunion gave us the convention passes, got us into the show if we wanted, but it was in Ohio, and the wrestling didn't start till 6 or 7. And it was RVD and Riddle, so it would have been cool. But that's why I said technically. But yeah, Battle of the Creek kind of stopped responding, and that was a whole thing, because then on one of their sites they said that the autographs would be free, and it wasn't. And then they said that you'd have to bring your own stuff to sign, so I made 8x10s, and that turned out not to be true. And I guess to tie it all back to Bound for Glory, Hammerstone was there, and my brother was the last person to talk to Hammerstone before he packed up his table and left, because nobody wanted to meet him.
Wow.
And now he is a former MLW heavyweight champion. He was at StarCast before that, and now it looks like he's going to be a main eventer at TNA.
Love to see it. That's probably that's the Dalton effect.
Yeah, the Dalton effect. He sprinkled a little bit of Dalton dust from that fro of his.
Yeah. And Dalton, if you're listening to this, I am under your bed. I'm watching you.
Yes. And but before we go, yeah, we got to remember when we go to Bound for Glory to pack our Dr. Squatch, because as always, it's a wrestling show. We love wrestling, we love the conventions, we love the fans, we love the shows, but sometimes they smell like a wrestling fan.
They smell.
So, to be the man, you gotta smell like the man, and to smell like the man, you gotta wear your Dr. Squatch, whether it be your shampoo, your conditioner, your deodorant, your soap, your lotion. They have it all. And if you use the link in the description for this pod, then you can get $10 off any order of $20 or more. That's a free bar of soap, man.
Man, I personally like the Maverick Musk. That is a good smell. Logan likes to smell like the Rainforest Rapids. That's what
I do enjoy that one.
Yeah.
I also like the bourbon one.
So if you ever see Logan in public, just get right up close to him and sniff him.
And I like the pine tar one. I haven't found one I don't like. They also have some really interesting partnerships lately.
The pine tar one tastes pretty good too. I'll let you know.
Okay. Okay.
So
but they've had some odd ones like Flamin' Hot Cheeto. They've done a Batman partnership, which is just now dropping. They've done a Wolverine one, a TMNT one, which is like a pizza flavor. Definitely keep an eye out for Dr. Squatch, because like PWP, it's basil and tomato, or pizza scented. But, well, it's basil and tomato. So I think you can eat it.
I'll have to give it a shot.
It's all natural.
It's gotta be good for you.
But make sure you're watching our socials as we post about Bound for Glory in the lead up, and as we post about Bound for Glory while we're there. Our Instagram, our Facebook, our X, our TikTok. There might even be a reel or two on YouTube, or a short or two on YouTube. Just make sure you like, you subscribe, you follow, and then drop a comment. And like you said, don't run under your bed.